Hey everybody, JK2 here. So let's face it, when we were kids, we absolutely loved cartoons as a kid. And the theme tunes tended to get stuck in our heads almost all the time. And that's what I'm wanting to talk about today. Because today, I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favourite cartoon theme songs. However, before we get started, there are a couple rules I need to mention for this list. Firstly, there are no preschool shows allowed, so you won't see stuff like the Backyardigans on here, even though that was a part of my childhood. Second, you won't be seeing anime anywhere on here, so no, you're not going to be seeing Pretty Cure or Sailor Moon on this list. Sorry! Thirdly, on this list, you'll only be seeing shows that come from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. You won't be seeing anything before then. Fourth, live action shows aren't allowed, so you won't be seeing stuff like Drake and Josh or iCarly. Fifth, there will be no adult cartoons, so you won't be seeing The Simpsons, Family Guy, King of the Hill, Rick and Morty, etc. Sixth, the cartoon must be English or American, so it must be either British or American in sound and language. So it must be English as a whole. And lastly, narration is allowed, but it can't take up the entire theme song, so you won't be seeing Avatar: The Last Airbender or Gargoyles on here. So, with all the rules set, without any further ado, let's get started! So starting us off at number 10, we have Winx Club Season 1. Okay, if I have to admit something, I am not a big Winx Club fan. I've never really been a fan of Winx Club ever since it started. The only main reason I actually like this opening is because of the fact that the song was used in Starry Night's Winx Club videos way back when, and that's when I first heard it. And that is the main reason why it's so low on the list, because I very rarely even hear it. Not to say it's bad by any means. I actually kind of like it. It's just the fact that Winx Club isn't really my thing, because I never really grew up watching Winx Club unlike many other people. I didn't actually get into the Magical Girl anime until way later on in my life, until I was roughly around 13 years of age, when I entered the gacha community. So, to summarise, I didn't really like Winx Club at all in my childhood because I never really watched it, and I only really got into it when I found out Starry Night had used the song in one of his own videos. Next up at number 9, we have Chalk Zone. Oh, Chalk Zone, where am I to start with you? Well, to start with, like most other people, I don't like minimalism. Like repeating things over and over and over again, and it gets really annoying. The Brothers Fluff is an example of that. Not like I've heard it before, but I might as well just talk about the elephant in the room. I'm not on about Horton. I'm on about the music! To be honest, having a guitar in the music just makes it sound way more badass than it should be. And in fact, this theme song only uses roughly 5 to 6 words entirely, and it never gets boring. So they actually did minimalism right. Congrats, Chalk Zone, you actually did minimalism right. You definitely deserve a raise. So moving on, at number 8, we have Silverhawks. Okay, ladies and gents, let me take you back to the 1980s for a moment. The 1980s had some real banger theme tunes for their cartoons back in the day. I bet your parents could agree with that too. And not only that, they were also longer in length, so you could listen to them a lot longer. For comparison's sake, normally nowadays cartoon themes would be 30 seconds long. Back in the day, they were a minute in length, so it was double the length you have today. Talk about minimalism, but back to the theme song I was talking about, it has no right to be this good. Having a guitar placed in the middle, yeah sure, you can say the sound effects ruin it, but I personally think it was there for a reason, so that way the opening could tell its story without needing any dialogue. And in my eyes, I think it does that perfectly compared to many other 1980s cartoon themes I actually like. So to summarise, while I do like this theme song really well, the others outdo it by a long shot, and you'll see what they are coming up. So, next up at number 7, we have The Magic School Bus.
Seatbelts, everyone! Please let this be a normal field trip. With a friend? No way!
As soon as you hear that, you know it's gonna be a bumpy ride. Now, before you lot go and say that I broke the rules, think again. I did say preschool shows weren't allowed, but I never said anything about educational shows. They're technically speaking different. By preschool shows, I meant stuff like Dora the Explorer, for example. But talking about this theme song for a good moment or two, this is the basis for the famous-ish meme, "Please let this be a normal field trip," which follows up with an ear-rape version of this very theme song playing with a bus just doing whatever in the background. Now, this show did get a reboot on Netflix a couple years ago, and to be honest, the theme song was also redone as well. But for nostalgia's sake, I decided to include the original. I would have talked about this theme a lot longer if it wasn't so short, but overall, it's a really good theme song, and I recommend you watch the series with your kids if you have any. Next at number 6, we have Sonic Underground. Oh my freaking lord, Sonic Underground! Where do I begin with this? Well, to start off with, personally, this was a show from my childhood. I loved it so much when I was little, I couldn't stop watching it. This is a theme song that really gets you pumped up for what you're about to see. In fact, every theme tune should really do that very feat. Shame the reviews for the show weren't that good. You see, despite the plot of the show being pretty good in my opinion, the actual show itself was rushed. The scripts were only done in 3 weeks, and the composer for all the songs only had 1 day to write a new song for every episode. 1 day equals 1 song. That's rushing if you ask me. And according to many, most of the songs in the show were very cheesy and very, poorly done, to say the least. So it was really, really bad. To the point it was actually cancelled. But I won't forget Sonic Underground for having a place in my heart. We're halfway through the list now. At number 5, we have Mysticons. Okay, I bet a good amount of you will remember Mysticons from some point. Especially you, Mystic Dragon 14. Especially knowing it was a big inspiration for Legend of the Guardians and Legend of the Amora, there was a high chance it could end up on the list. And well, here it is. Despite the fact that its lyrics are more stereotypical because it's considering about teamwork and them saving the world together, it's still a very good theme song with or without the vocals. It sounds epic to me, considering it's actually one of the outstanding pieces of Magical Girl history that I think is underrated. Next at number 4, just outside the top 3, we have Tough Puppy. Now this theme is really, really short, so I can't really talk about this one too much. But if I do have a good few positive remarks about this theme, it's the fact that it reminds me of Super Spies quite a lot, like James Bond or even Codename Kids Next Door, for example, which is also an honourable mention for this list. And not to mention the instrumentation for this theme actually fits the Super Spies theme really dang well, especially knowing the fact that this is based on super spies and organisations about spies as a whole. It's a very popular topic for cartoons, which is something I'm actually pretty positive about. So overall, Tough Puppy's theme is a really good one that's not really going to get out of my head anytime soon. We're now in the top 3. At number 3, we have Jace and the Wheeled Warriors. Now this has got to be the definition of a 1980s banger if you ask me. Now I'll be honest with you all, as much as I love this theme song, a lot, I never actually watched Jace and the Wheeled Warriors because I was born in the 2000s, not the 80s. Mind you, if I was, I would actually be way older than this now. But despite that, it doesn't even change the fact that this theme has no right to be this damn good. I know I've said that for many other themes beforehand, but this is just epic. However, since I haven't really watched Jace and the Wheeled Warriors, I can't really make a good decision on whether the series is good or not, let alone its theme song. But I'll admit it now, it does sound ridiculously good and motivating. I keep replaying the first 5 seconds of it over and over and over again. So overall, I can't really say anything else about Jace and the Wheeled Warriors, but if you was born in the 80s, I'm sure it was a golden gem for you. Next, at number 2, we have Wild West, Cowboys of Moon Mesa. Oh my King Lord, I am in love with this goddamn theme tune. But I really do feel like I have to apologize for literally putting a theme song about a show about sentient bulls who are literal cowboys on this list. It's ridiculous and I love it. In fact, the guy who made this show also made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No wonder this didn't get any respect. But there are definitely a lot of things to say about this theme, but the biggest one of which is that they actually got a country singer to both sing and co-write this actual song. His name is Billy Dean. I can't even believe that. However, the show did contain quite a load of good voice actors that I recognise, such as Jeff Bennett and Jim Cummings, whom I know as Prowl from TFA and Scar respectively. I could go on for hours about this theme, but I have to leave it at this. But I'll leave it at the fact that this is an earworm I can't get out of my head. Finally, folks, we've made it. Whew! So, without any further ado, my number one favourite cartoon theme song is... My number one spot goes to Cyber Chase. And oh my god, what a theme tune this is! I am in love with this so much! I love the theme tune to bits, even though it's very short. When you know this theme is on, you know the series is about to get real, especially with its content. It adds an attention you'd expect from an actual theme, and everything else as well. It is just straight up beautiful, and there are no words of mine to describe it. So that's it, folks. Those are my top 10 favourite cartoon theme songs. What do you think of the list? Share me your top 10 in the comments below. I normally refrain from saying this in my videos, but if you like what you see, especially if you like pre-cure and gacha content, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you keep notified about my latest videos. Anyway, I'm signing off. This is Jessica Kirk 2, signing out!